Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit a light, enter night. Take my hand, off to Never Never Land. Alright, hey guys, this is AJ Unlimited here to bring you another video. So this is another list I came up with that I felt that I needed to make a video on. And I actually came up with this idea like 2 days ago, and I just kind of wrote them all down, unloaded. So these are some things that I would consider 10 life lessons that no one will tell you because they're afraid to tell you, because they're like, maybe taboo more or less, or like things that just you would never hear from like a successful adult these days, like especially people who went to college and like are college educated and have the degree and all that. You won't hear the people like that tell you this stuff, but me, a 27-year-old male who's single and lives alone and has zero college degree, and still totally independent and able to take care of myself and live comfortably. These are my 10 things that I think that more people should hear. Number one, I wrote down, it's okay to be lazy. So the reason why I put this down is because ever since I moved out, ever since I moved out and started living on my own, the first like few months were just kind of, I was like a deer in the headlights because I just didn't really know what to do with myself. Back when I would live with my mom and my older brothers, we would all hang out and we would drink all the time and just laugh and tell stories and make fun of each other, sometimes even fight, argue. And so once I'm out like living on my own, I kind of lost all of that. And now it's like I had to give up all the drinking because it's kind of not the same anymore when you don't have people to drink with. Plus, it's not that good for you. So I kind of just got into more or less of a bad habit of every day after work just sitting down on my couch, just kind of scrolling the internet mindlessly, not doing anything, or just like playing a video game or just anything like that, really, just to distract myself and burn time until it's time to go to bed. Things like that, or even during the day when I'm off, I allow myself to sometimes just lay down and just turn off my brain and not think about anything. Just rest my eyes, whatever. Everybody seems to have their own like definition of lazy, but I like to think that as long as your priorities are, are in place and you're getting your stuff done, it's okay to lounge about. Be a little bit lazy, be a little bit just of a couch potato. Number two, I wrote down, and this kind of goes in hand with the first one, is it's okay to be a bit of a slob. Now, I generally love to live in a clean, tidy, organized environment. If my condo is like messy, there's dishes in the sink, my bed's not made, there's laundry that needs to be put away, it drives me nuts. Now, by the same token, I've learned that it's not always going to get done right away just because sometimes you gotta be a little bit lazy, sometimes you gotta lounge about. And I kind of had to force myself to throttle it back a little bit because, again, when I first moved into my condo, it's like it's like that infatuation you have with having your own place for the first time. Of course, you want it to be spotless, you want it to be clean, you want to make sure you keep up with it. But after a few weeks or months, it kind of starts to become like less and less fun and more of a chore. I found that sometimes it's best to kind of meet yourself in the middle. For example, I don't always clean off my dishes right away. Sometimes I let them pile up in the sink, or laundry. I don't always put it away. I let it just kind of sit there in the basket for a few days, or I'll throw my clothes on the floor. Of course, I always get around to doing it. At least once a week, I do a nice like tidy up, deep cleaning type of thing. Get it all done so it doesn't pile up to a point where it's overwhelming. But it's okay to let things pile up just a little bit. Number three, I listed it's okay to take a break. And what I mean by that is you don't always have to be like constantly keeping up with some sort of schedule. It's okay to like, obviously it's okay to have a schedule, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like, let's say you go to the gym every day or something like that, or you go for a run, or I don't know, whatever it is people do on a daily basis or on a regular basis. And sometimes you hit those brick walls where it feels like it's impossible to go on, but you force yourself to anyway. In most cases, sometimes people really have that discipline, and I admire that. But let's say you wake up every day at 6 a.m. to run on a treadmill or around, run a mile around the neighborhood, which again, I find very impossible, but admirable if you're able to do that. But there comes a point where you hit that brick wall, you hit that burnout, and you want to skip a day. But it's like people always tell you can't do that, you can't do that. Well, I'm telling you can. As long as you get back up on the horse after a day or two of taking a breather, I don't see why there's a problem with that, taking a bit of a break. Or even with my YouTube stuff, sometimes I don't feel like sitting down and recording and editing a video, so I'll take a day off or I'll just do a live stream or something, just make it easier on myself. It's okay to just take a breather, take a step back, look at things from a bird's eye view, and just reflect and reevaluate things if you feel like you have to. Number 4, it's okay to feel like shit. And what I mean by that is, people are always saying, like, think positively, be positive, think positively, look at the bright side, find the good in everything. And that's great. That's a great mentality to have. But you got to allow yourself some room sometimes just to feel like shit, to feel like garbage, to feel miserable. Because all that stuff, it's kind of like taking out the trash, right? You toss, let's say, a banana peel in the garbage can, right? Well, you don't have to think about it for a few days because you don't really have to take out the garbage. But after a few days or so, that garbage is going to pile up and you got to take it out to the dumpster. It's kind of the same thing. Something bad will happen, and maybe you toss it into like the garbage can of your brain, if you will, like your subconscious, or you put it somewhere else in your brain that's not like right there. You're not thinking about it in the forefront of your brain, but it's there, and more of that stuff is going to come and pile up, and eventually you got to just take out the garbage. So sometimes it's okay if you're having a bad day to just shut down and be pissed off at the world. Obviously, you don't want to take it out on other people because that's just a dick move. But you don't always have to be so happy, positive, happy-go-lucky kind of person. You can allow yourself days or however long you need to sometimes just allow these bad negative feelings to surface and to just deal with them. Feel it and do whatever you got to do to let it all out and move on. Number 5, and this one's pretty simple, short, sweet, to the point. It's okay to cry. A lot of people say, like, adults don't cry, men don't cry, grown men don't cry, grown-ups don't cry. And this is kind of a complicated one, right? Because crying is, looked at as a weak thing to do. It's looked at as wimpy thing to do, a bad thing to do. You're vulnerable. You like a kid. If a kid's crying, you're kind of like giving him a hard time about it because it's like almost it's a form of like he's not getting his way and he's being a spoiled brat and he needs to learn this or that or the other. However, person my age, I don't give a flying F. If I need to let it out, I let it out because damn it, it feels good. It feels good to let it out. It feels good to let out a good cry every once in a while. Once you finally allow yourself to just let the tears flow. It's like, because you're always holding that stuff in. It's like, there's literal muscles that are keeping those tears in. I don't know the science behind it. I just know what I know. But cry, damn it, let it out. And don't even be ashamed of yourself for doing it because it's a perfectly normal thing to cry. Number 6, and this ties in a lot into the third one, which is it's okay to take a break. And that is you don't have to constantly be like working super hard or grinding or like going balls to the walls with your goals or whatever. Obviously, this depends on circumstances and such, and your overall state of mind and what the particular goal is that you're working on. But for the most part, again, going to the gym or working on a YouTube channel or writing a book or just working on a relationship or whatever it may be, you don't constantly have to be like working like so many hours per day on this thing to make it happen. Life's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to just be constantly like have your eyes peeled and constantly be trying to prove yourself to society, trying to prove yourself to your family, trying to prove yourself to friends. It's stupid. It's a very false way to live your life. If you have a goal, yeah, work on it, set a schedule. My current YouTube channel is to upload every Tuesday and Thursday. It could be anything I want. It could be a vlog, it can be a video like this, it can be a stream, but as long as I just get something up every Tuesday and Thursday, then I know that I'm on the right track. I'm not forcing myself to do this stuff for hours on end every day. I'm not forcing myself to upload every single day. I'm not forcing myself to make the perfect video. I'm not forcing myself to do any of that. All I gotta do is upload something every Tuesday and Thursday, and that's it. That's all I gotta do. Number 7, I listed it's okay to be overweight. And the reason why I listed this mostly is because I am myself overweight. I have been like most of my life. I've had a very few windows of moments, chapters of my life where I was skinny and I looked good and I was confident in how I looked. 90% of my life I've been overweight. I've been a big guy, very self-conscious of how I looked, of my weight. And something I've come to terms with lately is it's okay to be a little bit chunky, have a little bit of a beer belly, have a little bit of double chin action going on. It's okay. Yeah, do I avoid looking in mirrors? Absolutely. But I just kind of learned to I hate saying love yourself, love myself, because it just sounds so ugh. But I've learned to do that, even if I'm a little bit overweight, even if I don't like the way I look or how I feel or whatever. It's kind of like you got to learn to see past that, because at the end of the day, you're the only person that really cares about that. You're the only person who's really judging you about that. Everybody else around you, whether it's family or friends, coworkers, they're just looking at you and they're seeing who you are as a person inside. They don't care about what you look like. I would love to look like Jensen Ackles someday, but I don't, and that's okay. Number 8, this one's actually rather profound, and I'm proud of it. I came up with it like in the moment while I was writing these down, and that is always and only give a little bit more than you receive. And what I mean by that is I believe that it's important to give everyone around you a little bit extra, a little bit more of yourself than you are being given by those people, but only give that much because you don't want to become a doormat. You don't want to become someone who's just being walked all over. You have to draw the line in the sand at some point, because if you're always giving so much more of yourself than people are giving to you, then eventually they'll start taking advantage of you, and they'll start to see that as a weakness or a vulnerability, and you don't want that either. So you want to always give a little bit more than you're receiving, because it's just the right thing to do, but only give a little bit more than what you're receiving, because if you give more than a little bit more extra, whatever, then it's going to start to kind of come back and bite you. So you got to be careful with that. Number 9, avoid gossip. Don't gossip ever, whether it's about your family or your friends or your coworkers. Once again, don't gossip, because not only does it make you look like a slimy piece of garbage, but if this person finds out that you were gossiping about that, that could be just a whole another mess, whole another dilemma in of itself, and you don't want to do that. Plus, then they might dig up some dirt on you and throw you under the bus, and you don't want that. Sometimes I do gossip. Sometimes I do, just to let it out, especially if it's people that I trust at the end of the day at work. If, it's just like 3 or 4 of us, I'll say a few things about certain people that I just, I didn't like what they did the other day. But some people like thrive on it. They really go out of their way to gossip just to feel better about themselves. And that's a really disgusting thing to do. Don't gossip. Especially if you don't know that person that well, and you don't even know for sure if what you're talking about is true. Like if they did something that you witnessed, or they didn't do something, and you're like, oh, well, did you hear about what they did or what this person did? And you just start spreading rumors, and you start spreading drama, and it just causes tension between people, and you don't want that. So don't gossip ever. Number 10, and I've said this before in a previous video, I'm going to say it again. The fewer words you speak, the better. I'm going to say it again. The fewer words you speak, the better. Now, I'm not saying you have to tape your mouth shut and be completely silent all the time and never speak a word ever again for the forever and ever. I'm just saying that most people in today's day and age, especially like my age or older, they just don't want to hear it. Nobody cares what you have to say unless it's something that benefits them in some way, or it's like good news, like, oh, you know what, there's free pizza today at work, right? There's a good handful of people at work that come up to me on a pretty regular basis, and they just talk about their day and they just vent and complain, and it's like, I don't care. If you're in a conversation and you're talking more than the other person, you're probably talking too much. And another thing, real quick about this is, if somebody gets like a haircut and like everybody comes up to you like kind of one by one, like, oh, did you get a haircut? Did you get a haircut? Did you get a haircut? Did you get a... You know, I've learned that if somebody gets a haircut, I don't say anything, because they're probably receiving the same question over and over again, and that gets very annoying. Just zip it. Learn to just shut your mouth, because nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear it. So with all that being said, I hope you guys get something out of this, and yeah, maybe I'll come up with more, because I know I can come up with more. There's always more. Thank you guys once again very much for watching this. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, you know what to do. Please like, subscribe, comment, email me. It's all there in the About tab and in the description. Also, if you've made it this far into the video, you're obviously a regular watcher on this channel. And I'd like to once again announce that I have a new channel, second channel, whatever you want to call it, called AlPal. It'll be in the description. It'll be in the description probably in every video going forward from now on. It'll mostly be a channel for like vlogs and shorts and stuff like that. Just shenanigans that I just will kind of mess around with for a little while, experiment with. So make sure you check that out. And that's it. So thank you once again very much for watching this. As always, I will see you next time. God bless. Sleep with one eye open, crispy. I don't know the words of the song. It's been stuck in my head, so I had to look it up on my phone.